Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing this easy summer bronzy everyday makeup look for you. So it is the first week of August here in Australia, which means it's the last month of winter, which means it's almost spring and then it's almost summer. I can't wait. So I felt really inspired to do something nice and bronzy and nice and warm just to push me through this last month of winter. So if you want to see how I achieved this makeup look, then please keep on watching. So first of all, I'm priming with my Clarins Beauty Flash Balm. I love this as a primer. It's really good at keeping the makeup in place, but it's more about giving the skin this you've slept for 24 hours amazing glow. And then I'm using my Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer just through the center of the face where I have a little bit of texture issues. For foundation, I'm mixing my Too Faced Born This Way foundation in the shade Light Beige, which is my tan shade. And I'm mixing it with the Josie Maran Argen Oil Enlightment Illuminizer, which is a beautiful liquid highlighter. It's quite metallic, so I do 2 parts foundation and 1 part this. Pop it on all over using my Cheaty makeup sponge and it just gives the skin this beautiful glow. It's stunning. I got this little mini sample in a subscription box, so I'm going to keep using it and see how much I love it, and then I might go and buy a full size, but it just gives a beautiful glowy effect to the skin. Really pretty. Next, I concealed my dark circles using my Giorgio Armani Master Corrector number 2 as always, which is a peach shade corrector, so really good at lifting any blue darkness from the under eye. So I just pop it in, blending in with my Zoeva 142 buffing brush. And then for concealer today, I used my Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer in the shade 18 Light. This is the first time I've used this. It was a very similar colour to my actual foundation, so it didn't give me a highlighter effect, but just applying it through the middle just gave me a little bit of extra coverage. Just where I tend to have a little bit more discoloration and I like a bit more coverage, I just blended it in again with my makeup sponge and I found it did that. It gave me the extra coverage but without it looking really concealery, which is good. And to set that, I took my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder and first of all on a 16B Napoleon Purtis brush I just applied it on my under eyes, and then I used my makeup sponge just to bake the centre of the face. I didn't do a really strong bake, I probably only left it on there for about 30 seconds. Because this is a summer bronzy makeup look, you're going to be outside in the heat and the makeup is more likely to melt. Just through the middle, that's where I tend to find my makeup breaks down quicker, just where I have a little bit more oil, so using the mini baking method helps with this situation. Once I'd popped it on, I just dusted it off with my Smashbox contour brush. For brows, I used my Giorgio Armani High Precision Brow Pencil in the number 1, which is the darkest shade. And then over the top, I used my Uemura Brow Mascara in the shade Ash Brown, which is a brow gel, but it's coloured. So it just added a little bit of texture to the hair, which again made the brows look a little bit softer, less defined, a little bit more natural, fresh, the look that I'm going for. And to prime the eyelids, as always, I used my Soft Ochre Paint Pot by MAC, and then I set it using my MAC Mineralise Skin Finishing Medium to help make my eye makeup last all day and power through the heat. Okay, now onto contouring and bronzing. So I'm going to be using creamy products so I can get a nice creamy soft look to the skin. First of all, I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Palette in Light, and I'm using the center shade, and I'm just applying it under the cheekbones using my Giorgio Armani foundation brush. So I'm just patting it under the cheekbones and then blend it in so it gives a nice soft shadow to the skin. I want to create contour so I get some definition in the face but nothing too heavy, so just keeping it nice and soft. I'm also applying the contour to the nose. Again, I want to create some definition, but I want to keep it soft and creamy. So just using that cream contour again. I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Palette brush, and I'm using the fine side first of all to create the line, and then blending it in with the fatter side just to buff it in. So I get a contour to the nose, but it's nice and soft and natural looking. And then for bronzer, again, I'm using a creamy product, and I'm using the Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel bronzing makeup base, which is hands down my favourite cream bronzer. I absolutely love it. And using the same brush, I'm just applying it to the outer perimeters of the forehead and also onto the cheekbones and onto the bridge of the nose, just to create a beautiful natural bronzed effect to the skin. I want the skin to look naturally bronzed rather than makeup bronzed, which again is why I'm using cream products rather than powders. It's less visible, so it just looks a little bit more natural, and you still get that beautiful bronzed glowy effect to the skin. Next, I'm taking my Physicians Formula Airbrush Bronzing Veil in the shade Light Bronze, and I'm applying that on top of that cream bronzer. This has got a beautiful luminous finish to it, so I'm applying it to set the cream bronzer, but again, it won't look too powdery because it's got that beautiful luminosity to it, so just patting it on top just to set it, intensify the bronze a little bit, nice and glowy. And then I'm taking my Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette and I'm using the shade Dim Light. And again, I'm applying that through the center of the face. So I am popping it slightly on top of that baked area just to soften the matte effect that the bake does to the skin. So just patting it on top. The Dim Light is like a beautiful, it's almost like a highlighter, but it's a really subtle highlighter. So you can use it on the skin like a powder and you get a beautiful luminosity to the skin without it looking too glittery. And for blush, I'm using my Milani Baked Blush in the shade Luminoso, and I'm applying it to the apples of the cheeks, blending it into that bronzer and that contour. Now onto eyes. So I'm using my Urban Decay Naked Palette number 1, and first of all I'm taking the shade Naked, which is a soft neutral brown, and I'm just dusting that through the eye socket. Then I'm going to take the shade Sidecar, which is like a metallic bronze, and I'm applying that on a flat shader brush and I'm just pressing that onto the mobile lid. So right from the lash line, inner corner, outer corner, up towards that contour, blending it into that naked shade to give a beautiful glow to the mobile lid. Then I'm taking the shade Buck, which is a deeper version of Naked, and I'm using that on the outer corner of the mobile lid. So just pressing it on with a pencil brush and blending it up into the contour, but keeping it very much on the outer corner. I'm blending it in with my Morphe M506 brush, but again, keeping it on the outer corner, just so it creates some definition and lift, but it doesn't start to get too heavy. Then I'm going to take that same Buck shade along the lower lash line, again to create some definition and some smokiness. And then taking my Bobbi Brown gel liner in the shade Espresso Ink, I'm just pressing that into the lash bed. I don't want to create any kind of wing or a thick line. I just want to add some definition into the lash bed just to create definition. And then I'm using my Giorgio Armani Ecstasy mascara in black, applying a generous coating to the top and bottom lashes. Now I'm going to apply some lashes. I'm using my Modelrock lashes in the style Miss Choo Choo, but I'm using the outer third only. So at the bit that I trim off when I apply a full strip, that little bit that we trim off on the outer corner, that's what I'm going to apply. And it will just add some volume to the outer corner of the eye, and again it will create some lift and give the eye a slight cat eye effect, which is really pretty. And for lips, first of all I'm lining my lips using my Kylie Cosmetics lip liner in the shade Coco K, which is probably one of my favourite lip liners at the moment. I love these lip liners. They're so creamy and so hydrating, but they really help to keep the lipstick in place, which is amazing. So I've got the two shades Candy and Cocoa, so I kind of use them depending on what lipstick I'm using, but today I'm applying Cocoa. And then on top of that, first of all, I used my Giorgio Armani Rouge D'Armani Lipstick 503, which is quite a bright pink, and I didn't really love the effect it gave. I found it was too bright. So on top of that, I blended in the Kat Von D Studded Lipstick in the shade Noble, which is a much more of a nude shade, and that just softened the brightness of the pink. So I still got like a girly pinky lip, but it just wasn't as bright. Last step is highlight, and I'm using my Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Champagne Pop, which is a beautiful bronzy champagne shade, and I'm applying it to the high points of the face. And then to finish everything off, I'm doing a spritz of my MAC Fix Plus to help set everything, help all the powders kind of settle into the skin, make it look a little less makeup-y, and just to help everything look nice and glowy, just to finish up that bronzed, glowy effect that I am looking for. So this is the finished look. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next video. Have a wonderful day and I'll see you soon. Bye!